Hello, it's Strigabella. I'm going to continue on my organizing my cabinets and make it kind of like a series sort of thing to help those who are trying to either get organized, make your spiritual practice more incorporated into your daily life, how to make it less of a hassle and task, kind of make it simple. What I'm trying to do is do the same thing for myself, so hopefully as I do it, it will help some of you. It's so easy to get stuck in a spiritual rut when you are not able to easily do the things that you know you're supposed to be doing or should be doing to continue to learn and grow. So I found myself in kind of a spiritual rut in the last couple months. So I'm trying to clean house, so to speak, both physically, spiritually, and physically, and my body wise too. So I'm going to share some tips on how do you know what you need to keep, what should you save and what should you not, how many herbs, which herbs you should have, and so forth. So it depends on what your practice is and what you're going to be doing in it. If you are kind of going to be sort of low key, not too public, and you want to kind of more incorporate a subtle spirituality that you can just kind of share with everyone, teach people, have it be like totally in the open, it's very easy. It's extremely easy to do your cooking and your house cleaning and your spirituality all in one big kind of lifestyle. That's kind of how I live. I mean, I do have areas of private, more sacred space and stuff like that. But for the most part, I love to help others and share the stuff that I know as far as cooking, growing, and all that kind of stuff that I think everyone should know, whether you really want to get that into it or not. So, depending what you're going to be using your herbs for, you never want to have an overstock of anything you don't need. Always buy a small amount of something to see how good it is, if you like using it, and if you're going to be using it on a regular basis, those are the things you want to stock up on. And you want to also have them somewhere accessible near tools that you're going to use to do whatever you're going to do with them. So, for example, I am right now jarring rose petals and rose flowers. I have another bowl here that is not going to be used in the same way, and I don't have to separate the particular types of flowers from the bowl. Now, with roses, I use those much more often. I use them for all kinds of things. So depending on, these are more pretty. These are like beautiful little dried small bouquets of all colors of roses. So I keep these in one jar. Then I have, the kind of dried out, gross looking brown roses that just kind of were given to me, and I dried them and I saved them because they still can be used, especially for stuff like incense, but they're not pretty. You don't want to put this in a satchel, or you don't want to have this floating in your bathtub, or put it you definitely don't want to decorate food with it. There's some things you can't do with it, but there's others you can. I am probably going to use some of these and make an oil or an ointment, something like that to use, that I'm going to cook it, and then I'm going to let it, set for a period of time, and then remove the roses from it, and then I have the essence, the smell, and the qualities from the rose that I want to infuse into my skin, or whatever I'm going to do. You can also make that into a tea, put it in a tea bag, crush it up. That's another way to use non-pretty looking dried flowers and herbs. Like some things like sunflowers don't tend to hold very well. I thought I had a bunch of them in here and I can't find them. They were all falling apart, that's why. The petals all fall off, so that's something that if you're going to use sunflower for medicinal purposes and stuff, you can save it, but otherwise I don't really save it very much because it's not that easy to it doesn't keep very well. But these kind of like randomly colored bouquets I just use for mostly for decoration, keep them in little bowls. So if you are going to be cooking and doing a variety of things with your herbs, you can certainly keep them all together like this. There's a few of my herbs that I keep in my other cabinet because I don't use them at all for cooking or anything like that. I only have specific uses that I use them for, and it's nothing that I would ever want to be like in the kitchen or in here doing. But all these other ones that I have, which is quite a lot, are ones that I use on a very regular basis. I use them in cooking. I use them for health purposes. I make teas. I do all kinds of things, decorating, incense, bath, everything. So these are things that I'm going to go through, and I'm going to be wanting to constantly be re-drying, rebottling, using the stuff on the bottom here that I have so far, like my grinding tools. It's so great if you have to grind a lot of stuff with your mortar and pestle. If you have one of these small mincer chopper machines, I have this one too, or a food processor. You don't want to ever use non-edibles if you're going to be using those tools for cooking as well. I have separate sets for things that I can't, that are going to be unhealthy to ingest. But for the most part, everything in here, if it's with my cooking stuff, it's not going to be a poisonous substance. So you want to be very careful and know what you have and what it's used for, so you don't make any grave errors. Another thing I'm doing is I have tons and tons of boxes of tea, bags of tea everywhere, plus the herbs that I use for teas. So I need to find a way to be able to not only enjoy what I want out of tea, but to be able to serve it and have unique ideas for entertaining and having people learn about tea and drink tea and everything. These little things are great if you can get them. I think some like big stores like Costco or BJ's do have these, like where they sell bigger supplies of things. They have these little, and you can buy them at like the Dollar Tree, in the little area where they sell party supplies and stuff. It's cute to put this out on a table with like I have this out all the time. I have my teapot. I have a pretty decorative serving platter, and then I have salt, pepper, and I have these for if I want to put out oil and vinegar or something, honey or something to serve with whatever I'm needing it for. These make good decorations too, these little jars and vases and bottles when you're not using them, and it saves space if you put the stuff out as a decoration, but it serves double purpose. So another tip with teas, and if you have like a variety but you don't want to keep all the boxes in a certain place, you want to store the excess, you take some of each kind and put it in, this is a recipe box, but also those cute boxes that cards come in. You can get a package of cards or writing paper, and a lot of those are gifted to you. I have tons of like leftover boxes from note cards, and they make great little boxes to keep things in. And it's a great way if you set out a pretty box with all of your tea varieties and let your guest choose what kind of tea they want, rather than just making like a whole thing of whatever. So I'm gonna do that with this. I'm gonna try to take. I have like all these boxes of tea, and then I have this one. I have like millions of boxes of. So I'm gonna store that, and then just have a small supply of each variety available. A basket is a nice way to spread out some tea and some packets of whatever kind of sweetener that you might have, and just leave it out, so that when people come to your house, they feel, welcome. It really makes the environment feel different. If your home is welcoming and inviting and has these things that entice the senses visually, the sense of smell really can change a person's emotions. It can change their whole mood and lift them. You don't want people to leave your house feeling worse. You want them to feel better. That's the whole point. Most of us do what we do and make videos and videos and videos, just teaching people. Not getting, I'm not doing this for any reason other than to share knowledge and the love of these kinds of things. So these baskets, I save all kinds of baskets. And once the basket, because baskets, if you use them a lot, they get old, pieces fall off. So when that happens, I switch them to outdoors. I use them on the porch. I use them in the garden. And then eventually, when they start shredding, I leave them outside for the birds, and they take the little pieces and they make nests. So it's a way to be, conscious of recycling, reusing things, conscious of the environment, and also, making your ability to do your practice and enjoy it rather than make it be a terrible task, something that requires just so much effort. I like these things, these boxes that have fabric on them that kind of look like a seat, like a Foot Locker kind of thing. You can do all kinds of things with those. Hide clothing if you don't have enough closet space, drawer space. You can use it in a room like this. This is my dining room. I use this particular one for tablecloths. And I had some other stuff in there that I removed because I realized I had all these like altar cloth type place setting things and doilies like this, table runners, that I forgot about because they were like stuffed in there with the tablecloths. So I now have these right next to where I'm going to be wanting to use that kind of stuff. I have different seasonal like colors, and it's right here next to the table, next to where I'm going to be doing this stuff. I have my coffee grinder. I have this awesome old-fashioned coffee grinder. It is amazing. I can grind all kinds of beans, and it has different settings. Pretty cool. So I have like all different seasons of stuff to put under bowls and out when I'm serving. And so I don't know, that's kind of how I'm trying to make my life a little easier, make it easier to cook and clean and take care of children, and then also have time for myself to take care of my health and my mind and my emotions and my practice, my spirituality, because it's very easy when you get in a rut. 1 to 2 days, you can kind of get it back maybe, but once it leads to time goes by really fast, and before you know it, you haven't you're stuck in that old same habitual rut. My kitchen's a disaster because I'm reorganizing everything between the kitchen and the dining room. But I hope some of these tips are helpful. You don't want to have this happen. Wait, I don't know if you could. Oh, there you go. That exercise machine someone gave us, nobody uses it. I did use it when I first got it, but it doesn't go up high enough. I just don't even get any exercise from it at all anymore. I maxed it out, and so it's been just sitting there in the middle of the room, and it's driving me nuts. And then that cabinet over there, that corner hutch, I don't use the way I thought I would. In my old apartment, I did kind of use it more because it was right there. But I have this big exercise machine blocking that whole side of the room. Something needs to change about that because that's really bad energy flow. It's like a clutter collector, that part of that area, because when you can't access it, you tend to put other clutter there because you're not going to go over there. Nobody's going to walk over there. So you just stuff more and more things, and then it just gets bigger and bigger, and it will take over. And it is anxiety provoking. Like just seeing it, you just feel that, not the natural flow of life and energy and breathing. And I really understand that whole concept of feng shui. You need to have the right flow of the right types of energies, and then you will have peace and health and joy. So I hope this was helpful, and I am going to be still doing stuff, so I'm hoping to make this out like a series on helping you guys to help me and help each other to get really growing and learning and advancing, because that's the whole point, that we are in this community and trying to watch videos of other people getting ideas and tips on how to do stuff better. So if you like this video, subscribe and ask questions, and blessed be. Bye guys.